Hello and welcome to the channel. This is Jack and Chill, and today I'm going to be talking about I Am Legend by Richard Matheson.
Remember, you can't spell relaxo without relax.
The back cover reads, Robert Neville is the last living man on Earth, but he is not alone. Every other man, woman and child on the planet has become a vampire, and they are hungry for Neville's blood. By day he is the hunter, stalking the undead through the ruins of civilization. By night he barricades himself in his home and prays for the dawn. How long can one man survive like this? The answer is 160 pages. First published in 1954, the book is kind of revolutionary for establishing the subgenre of post-apocalyptic horror as we know it today. Most recently, I can draw very clear connections between I Am Legend and The Last of Us, the game and the show. So as with a lot of horror properties, I was first introduced to the concept of I Am Legend in the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror in the Omega Man, which was loosely based on the Charlton Heston movie The Omega Man, which is then loosely based on I Am Legend.
Jeez, what's with all that death? Oh my God. Everyone's gone! Little Bart. Little Lisa. Little Marge. And the rest. Oh, I've lost everything. I can't go on. No. I can't just wallow in sadness. It's time to laugh again. I'm the last man alive, and I can do everything I've always wanted.
In the Charlton Heston movie and The Simpsons, humanity is mutated after a nuclear fallout.
Nuclear. It's pronounced nuclear.
In the novel, however, it's a global virus that spreads across the world, wiping out or transforming people into traditional vampires as we know them. And of course we have the 2007 movie I Am Legend, which starred Will Smith, which much more closely resembles the book than The Omega Man. There too is a dog in this, in a very compelling and sad chapter. So as before, I'm going to rate the book using 2 stars and a wish, 2 things I really enjoyed and liked about the book, and then 1 thing that I didn't so much enjoy or wish could have been done better. So the first thing that I appreciate the book is how unapologetic and real and honest the characterisation of Robert Neville, the last man on Earth, is. Richard Matheson is a straight white male in the 1950s writing about a straight white male who is the last man on Earth, and he is kind of as you expect to be written, and I really appreciate the kind of honest, visceral nature of his characterization. Robert Neville's not necessarily a likeable character, you know. He drinks, he smokes, he's a curmudgeon, he's kind of hating on life, he just kind of gets on with it, you know. He's kind of switched off, he's a man on a mission. But that's the kind of person he needs to be because of the situation he finds himself in. But being, you know, the only man left on the planet, he has very manly, strict thoughts, and whether you like that or not, I appreciate how honest Richard Matheson is in his writing. You know, for example, being the last man on Earth, he has needs, which he never acts upon. But for example, you know, Robert Neville will see a woman, a vampire, like trying to tempt him. And of course, he immediately thinks, I need to have sex with her. I want to do things that I shouldn't be doing. You know, left to their own devices, men can be very dangerous. They can have very strong sexual and violent thoughts. And Matheson leans into that.
Man.
Do I agree with him and like Robert Neville as a character? Not particularly, but there's nothing wrong with that. Good characterisation is good characterisation. It's refreshing to see an honest and real and perhaps dangerous portrayal of a man. The book itself takes place over a course of several years. We begin just several months after the last people on Earth have died, essentially, and Robert Neville has been the last man on Earth, as far as he knows, for about 6 or so months. And we sort of look at his day-to-day routine, you know, and how the life that he set up for himself, and the setting, you know, what he's done to the house, how he protects himself, where he gets food and water, and how he deals with the vampire threat when they arise. Then over the course of the book, whether through boredom or necessity, Robert Neville starts to question the very idea of the vampire and what makes them the way they are. You know, for example, why does garlic keep them away? Mirrors. Why does wooden stakes work? Crucifixes are a big part of it. You know, in traditional vampire mythology, they're kept away by the crucifix and the image of Jesus. But Robert Neville has the idea, well, not everyone that became a vampire is Christian. At one point, Robert Neville explains, if someone is perhaps Jewish, the crucifix or image of Jesus Christ won't repel them. Instead, he has to use the Torah for someone of the Jewish faith. So that aspect of the mythology is very interesting. And then as the story goes on, Robert Neville starts to question the idea of vampirism and where they came from in the first place. You know, a lot of people's beliefs about vampires do come from superstition. So why do certain things affect them and other things don't? And then what caused the vampire outbreak in the first place? You know, what causes it to spread? Basically, what is vampirism? What is a vampire? If not a supernatural being, what actually are they? And finally, for my wish, one thing that I didn't particularly enjoy was Richard Matheson's writing and structure. There was a few times where his sort of sentence and paragraph structure was a bit confusing. You know, he's throwing a lot of information at you in such a short amount of pages, and sometimes it felt a bit like it was written in like a stream of consciousness. You know, this happened, I think this, just one thing after another. And you kind of have to backtrack a couple of times to kind of figure out, is it a flashback? Is it happening right now? Just to kind of take a moment to kind of realise and figure out where you are and what's actually happening. All in all though, it's a really enjoyable novel. You can see why and how revolutionary and inspirational it was for a lot of vampire zombie and just general post-apocalyptic and horror stories going forward. I absolutely love vampires. Chances are you're going to see a lot more on the channel, and this is clearly a standout of the vampire genre. It's not my favourite thing I've ever read, but I can appreciate how influential it was to things that I enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. I really do truly appreciate it. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below if you've read and you enjoy or didn't enjoy the novel I Am Legend, or what you think of Richard Matheson's other works and what I should check out personally. Do you have any favourite vampires or vampire stories that you want me to talk about? Please let me know. I'm Jack. Thanks for chilling.